morning student, welcome to the session of online teaching. Today our topic is the uses of passive voice, where we use the passive voice. Children, as you know, in active voice, when the doer of action is present, okay, that is the main active person in the sentence, then that is called active voice. Means I wrote a letter, subject is there and he is doing the work and action is doing by that subject, so he is the doer of the action, so that is active voice. And when we are stressing upon the action, not on the subject who does this, then that is called passive voice. Means doer of the action is not active in that, then this is called, we are just focusing on the action, then that is a passive voice. For example, a letter was written by me, so we are focusing on the action which is being done, so then this is a passive voice. Today we will see what are the uses of the passive voice. Children, uses of passive voice are that spontaneous and deliberate use of the passive voice. In fluent English, passive forms naturally and spontaneously occurring without a conscious change from active to passive voice. क्या करते हैं हम फ्लुएंट इंग्लिश में, वी आर यूजिंग द पैसिव वॉइस. वी आर नॉट सेइंग कि ये पैसिव से एक्टिव में जा रहा है, एक्टिव में पैसिव में चेंज हो रहा है, बट स्पॉन्टेनियसली वी आर यूजिंग द पैसिव वॉइस. एक्टिव इक्विवेलेंट्स बी हार्ड टू यूज फॉर द सेंटेंस लाइक रोम वाज नॉट बिल्ट इन अ डे. सो ये ऑलरेडी पैसिव वॉइस है. वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट हियर. लाइट फ्लैश बंद करो पहले. Yes, good morning students, welcome to the session of online teaching. Students, today our topic is the uses of passive voice. As you already know how to change active to passive voice, now we will discuss where we will use passive voice. Children, in fluent English we are using the passive voice spontaneously, fluently we are using the passive voice. वहाँ पे हम ये नहीं देख रहे कि how it is changes from active to passive voice. We are just simply use it in spontaneous way. For example, जो some sentences are like that which cannot be formed in a active voice. Like Rome was not built in a day. The origin of universe will probably never be explained. So these sentences were hard to use in the active voice, so that's why these are used as a passive voice. Passive voice is used especially when speakers do not wish to commit themselves to the actions, opinions or the statement of the fact of which they are not sure. Means some actions are there, वहाँ पे जो है speakers they are not taking the responsibility of that action, then that actions are using in a passive form. For example, 100 of magazines are published every month, then the matter will be handled firmly. So these sentences are like that where the speakers are not ready to take the commitment of the action, to take the responsibility of the action, so there we use the passive form. Passive voice often use a useful way of expressing something impersonally by beginning the sentence with "it is hoped that." Sometimes sentences are like that. People hope that he is living in Canada. Yeah, people believe that. So वहाँ पे when we have to change these sentences to passive voice, we will use "it is believed that he is living in Canada." So like that we will change. ये जो है आपका impersonal use है. When we are saying "it is believed that he is living in Canada," ये impersonal use है. When we have to change it into personal passive voice, how we will change? He is believed to be living in Canada. So this is the personal use of passive voice. Regarding this, I will send you one video, so these things will be clear to you very nicely कि how it can be used as a personal and impersonal. The difference between is that when we are saying the sentence like that, "it is believed that he is living in Canada," this is impersonal passive voice. When we are saying "he is believed to be living in Canada," that is a personal passive voice. So passive voice are used in personal and impersonal use also. Then passive form is often found in reports. When some reports we are giving, then also on when some preparation of dish also is there, we are using using passive voice. For example, it is hoped that survivors will be found. It is believed that president was in the town. So these are reports. So when we are talking about the reports, we are using the passive voice. Passive voice for focusing. As I told you, when we want to focus on the action, not on the speakers, not on the person who is doing, the subject who is doing that action, then we use the passive voice to focus on something. Like we use passive voice when we wish to focus on happening which is more important to the us than who or what causes the happening. Means who has done this, that is not important for us. How it is the action which is important for us, so on that we are focusing, then we are using passive voice. For example, one roof was damaged in the storm. One roof was damaged in the storm. So that action is important to us. By whom it is done, that is not important. We are concerned with our roof and what happened to it. The atmosphere is polluted. By whom or what, that is not important for us. So action is important to us. When we are focusing on the action only, then we use the passive voice. Then avoiding uses the word like as a subject. For example, passive voice is used when we wish to avoid using a vague words as a subject. What are that vague words? For example, someone, a person, etc. Somebody done this, someone done this. So like this, these are the vague words. You know that my purse was stolen by someone, by thief. So that is not important. That is not, so that vague words, when we want to avoid that words, we use passive voice. Like after my lecture, I was asked to explain a point. I was asked to. So that is the main thing. I was asked to explain a point. By whom or by what, that is not important. Then passive voice is used when the subject is an indefinite pronoun like one. For example, the form has to be signed. Not one has to sign. The form means everybody has to sign. The form has to be signed. The main thing is that the form has to be signed. That is the important. That action is important. So passive voice is used there. Passive voice is obligatory notices. When notices are there, sometime notices we are giving. So that also we are giving in the passive voice. That function will be held. Okay. So loans arranged, shoes repaired, entry prohibited, like this. These are when notices are there, when we used to when we want to inform them about information about that notices, we are using the passive voice. So children, these are uses of passive voice in the English grammar. So please go through the chapter carefully and try to do your assignment. Thank you. Have a nice day.